Okay, so I just want to say welcome back to Tops Radio, and we are here live 24/7. It is 23 minutes to 8 o'clock right here on the big one, Tops Radio, and I have in studio Mr. Gary Slowly, the man that, is it safe to say that you are going to be the MP for Northeast St. Elizabeth, Sir Slowly?
I think so, my brother.
That's a good way of thinking, sir, Sir Slowly.
Most definitely, man. We have to be on the positive side,
Yes.
Yeah, but then again, away from being positive, the overwhelming response that we've been getting, I mean, I'm very humbled by the wide cross-section of people who are actually rooting for us, and this is really a movement by the people,
yes,
for the people.
Okay, good. The name, IPP.
That acronym for Independent People's Party.
All right. How did that name really come about, Sir Slowly?
Actually, it's a name that actually came from the people, because this is something which was not really planned in a structured way, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
This is something took off by the people around me, and pretty much as we went by, different suggestions were offered, and that one sounded quite catchy, and we moved with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here in Jamaica, it's very obvious that we have two major political parties, the PNP and the JLP.
Yes.
Before you became independent, were you a part of any party that you can say, I was a part of the JLP, and as a result, I don't like what is happening there, so we're shifting away and shifting gear to being that independent party?
Well, I'm proud to tell you so that I had no previous political affiliation either to the JLP nor the PNP.
Okay. What actually motivated you, though, to become an independent member?
Well, the truth be told, for many persons have always been coming to me at different times over the years, in terms of maybe the work that they have seen me doing, because who you are, it goes before you, it precedes you. So based on the kind of activities that they saw me being involved in, and if I may say, fixing up the road, the major roads along my stretch from Santa Cruz back to Leeds sometimes, different years, and even within my own community. Different things, and I don't really want to be blowing my own trumpet because, you can only do good when the Spirit of the Lord lead you to do good, so to God be the glory. But I'm just saying that I've never really had an interest until recently. I began to have some dialogue within.
Okay.
And, I personally was never really keen on necessarily voting on a party line.
Okay.
Right? I have always been steering individuals around me, and I try to guide them. I said, when you're voting, you need to look and assess the individual who is seeking to represent you.
Okay.
And I, for one, I never really identified or connected with such a individual at any time.
Okay.
And so I pretty much stayed neutral throughout. You understand? But in recent time, based on the question that you asked, when I saw the lack of leadership that existed within the Northeast St. Elizabeth constituency, I really began to think about it, and I was asking myself the question, if it is that you are looking for a particular person of a certain moral character,
right,
person with certain principles and values, and you're not seeing that person, and if it is, persons are looking at you and you think that you can fit the bill, why don't you offer yourself to the people to serve them? And out of that internal dialogue, I made the decision that, I'm going to go on board. And since, as it is that I had no political affiliation at the time, I guess the best thing to do was to just go as an independent person.
Okay.
Yes, because the people were asking for me to come out and represent. And I've decided on doing that.
Okay. Do you think a third party will survive in Jamaica?
Well, honestly speaking, my brother, I am not setting out to form a third party per se. I'm looking more at the local aspect of representation at Northeast St. Elizabeth.
Okay.
Or the sky's the limit. But as
Okay.
I say, I've often told persons I'm no politician, and I'll be doing things differently than how politicians do their thing.
Okay.
I'll be there to serve the people and serving all the people of Northeast St. Elizabeth in spite and despite, regardless of their political affiliation. It's about serving the people that's around me.
Sir, slowly, what do you plan to do differently from the JLP and the PNP? What are your plans? What are your intentions?
Well, let me tell you, this is not about national policies and national issues. Because as I said to you, I am not really about forming, a government per se. And so in terms of, going into national issues as in fiscal policies and stuff like that, I don't want to get into that right now, you understand? But I do have some things that I'd like to see happening within my constituency. But one of the things, in terms of our road network, I was a victim of a pothole just the other day. I lost a rim one day, the next I lost a tire. And I'm saying to myself that, and I'm saying to the people, that the major road network within Northeast St. Elizabeth, I am going to ensure that they are pothole free. You might be a little bit surprised at that. But let me tell you, pothole free can be done. It can be done. All it takes is a little maintenance. I do have the privilege, like yourself, travel sometimes, and most every day you see maintenance work taking place on the road. You go to the US, that's what keep the road in a superb condition. But as I said, I'll be doing things differently from a politician. Politicians will wait until those little patches become, real terrible.
Yes.
They'll wait until the thing become, major.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, the contracts are going out. And we know what happens when the contracts are made. Sometimes, I don't want to state it, but we know what happens. And so I'm saying that can be avoided. Fix it. It is said that stitch in time save 9. So if we get to that point where we can get that fixed within, understand, a certain time, then it won't get to the point where you have all these kind of road situation coming. So the idea is to plug them as soon as you can, understand? And the kind of person that I am, I liaison with the persons on the ground, the taximen, the drivers, all of those persons from just about anywhere in St. Elizabeth. It's my backyard wherever I go. And if it is that I can have this thing together where I can speak to these drivers and I say, listen to me, whenever you see something out there, you just touch base with me or my office and we're going to deal with it. That's the kind of thing. Having that all the persons on board to say, okay, listen, we are going to work to get this thing done together. Because it's not just about depending on government resources. We have to engage the people within each community in terms of self-help. That's the way to go. When I look at the farmers also, I do my own little thing now. I fund a yam farm. And just the other day, somebody was saying to me that in terms of the market, and it strikes something in me, is like I'm going to have to go by the market to sell it to get a decent price, because if persons come into the field, then the price that I'm getting is going to be so depressed. And it strikes me that there are so many farmers out there, they spend their hard-earned dollars, they spend their time, and at the end of the day, they don't have market for their produce. Now we need to bridge the gap so we can have those hard-working farmers, understand, having less headache in terms of disposing of their produce when they come in. Understand? Those are the things that we're going to have to work on. As you talk about farming is, St. Elizabeth farming is one of the mainstay. We're in a farming belt. That's like one of our main major income earner. The tourism industry, we don't have that this side. The bauxite, well, I don't even know what to say. We had it, I'm not sure about now. But I'm saying whatever is working good for us, let us develop it. Let us achieve some economies of scale as best as we can. You understand? So those things are what I'd love to address. The young people that I see on the street corner so oftentimes, with such loose energy, we can do something to harness those loose energy. And we wouldn't have to be so worried at nights when we go to our beds about what might happen. Because a lot of those guys you see out there, they're quite intelligent and they're good at heart. But whenever you have that idleness and thing to go around like that, understand? If we can harness in terms of the sporting development, in terms of some training facilities, when I move around, my brother, and I look at some of the centers that were there. They're in such dilapidated conditions. The roofs are falling in, and you have madmen occupying some of the buildings.
Yes.
I'm saying the things that we have already, we can actually focus on them, rehabilitate them, get them going. We can get some skills training center within those communities. We can get homework centers within some of those communities. You understand? So there's a lot of things that can be done if we have interest in community building and if we have interest in people's affairs.
It has been said, Mr. Slowly, that a lot of us, a lot of people, are accustomed to the regular handout, where the JLP and the PNP, if me nah get nothing, me nah stay around and vote and whatever. What are your plans? What do you plan to do or put in place to take, for instance, you have a set of PNP, a die-hearted PNP, and you have a set of die-hearted Labourite. You as an independent candidate, what are your plans to try to attract that die-hearted person to come over to your movement?
That's a good question, my brother. And, I would like to tell you that there has been a paradigm shift. What was is not now anymore.
Okay.
There are a very small percentage of people who fall in that bracket. More of the older persons.
Okay.
But these younger folks, they are well-thinking individuals. And in most homes nowadays, you have a university graduate, and these are persons who are thinking on their feet, and they're assessing, and they're analyzing, and realizing that it's time to have a change. And as I go out there, let me tell you something, I can testify to you that the change, there's a wind of change which is blowing. And they are no longer so tunnel vision on the parties anymore, and no longer so focused. As I said, there's a small minority that you can't take that away from them. They're accustomed to that. And those minority will say to you, if you put a dog there, I'm going to vote for my party.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But by and large, there's a large group of persons, and especially the undecided among us.
Yes.
There's about 50% of undecided voters who are actually looking and in a very, very interesting way, analyzing and assessing the person and the personality and the track record of the person who is seeking to represent them. And persons would have known by now that I am an individual that never had any interest in a political career or anything in politics. And so many persons are being drawn to this movement. I am really humbled sometimes based on the mixed persons. A little old lady was saying to me this evening, don't watch the noise, my son. Don't watch the noise. What makes the difference is the vote. So don't worry yourself. And so you see those kind of persons that will come to you at times. Some persons will call, some persons will text. You understand, to say, we are with you. I'm pleasantly surprised sometimes based on the individual sometimes that make the contact. But I tell you something, I am 47 years old, and who you are, it precedes you. A lot of people have grown to know who I am and what I stand for.
Okay.
And so because of that track record in terms of community involvement, involved in the schools, doing different stuff, the infirmary, doing different stuff, as I said, that precedes and it is out there. And people are somehow, who never knew about it, are getting to find out and hearing about it. So that small minority of persons that's there,
right,
that holds on to their view in that tunnel vision. As I said, it's neither here nor there.
How do you plan to fund all these intentions?
Well, in terms of funding, mostly it's the campaign right now as funding, because if you think about at the point where you become a member of parliament, each member of parliament is assigned funds, as in the constituency development fund.
Right.
So whether it is an independent or it is from one of the mainstream party, then funds would have been provided for you to do the necessary things within your constituency. So that wouldn't have been a problem. But as I talk about campaign funding, that is so, our funding is so limited right now that even a nomination day, what we had to do was to ask persons to wear the white T-shirt because person wanted to get one of them with the picture on it to be identified. But because the resources was so limited, we asked, and people did it. You understand? People were happy to wear the white T-shirt without the picture on it. And that's why I'm saying to you, this is something which is by the people, for the people, and we're fighting for the people.
General election is February 25. If you come February 25, if you are not elected as the Member of Parliament of Northeast St. Elizabeth, would you continue your dream as an independent candidate?
Well, that's a good question, But first thing first, the work continues in terms of serving my community and my people.
In what capacity would you serve?
Serving in the sense of, as I said, the things that I've been accustomed to doing. You understand? Though maybe at a smaller scale, a smaller level, but it continues. It continues. But in terms of to seek that continuous thing in terms of an independent candidate, it's something that I'd have to think about. Because quite honestly, let me tell you something. I have no political career that I'm looking. And I say to persons, I'm not a politician, and I don't intend to become one. Understand? The idea is that there are certain stigma and sentiments that's attached to our politicians nowadays. I want none of it, right?
Right.
But in terms of going forward, even as a member of parliament, I really wouldn't have any plan to go beyond one term, 5 years. That is, because my thing would have been to demonstrate how the thing can be done in terms of achieving a certain common goal and building the constituency. You understand? To a certain point, to say to them, listen, these are the things that I have done and can be done. And whoever it is that comes up need to fill that through and look into themselves and realizing, because there's always a cry that the funds are not there and whatever. I'm saying, yes, it is limited, but it is, if we have less corruption at a higher level, then we have far more of the resource to spread around. You understand?
Yes,
if we are looking at to say, okay, it is more about the needy and less about the greedy, then we can have far more to circulate and to be effective in making meaningful changes within the constituency. So I really, as I said, I don't really have a career to go beyond a certain number of years, honestly speaking.
You mentioned one term.
Yes.
One term, and then you're out of politics?
I tell you what, this is a great sacrifice for me. It is a great sacrifice for me. But I'm accustomed to making sacrifice. You understand?
No, but hold on, sir, slowly. Let me understand really what you're saying.
Sure.
Are you saying that if you are actually being elected as a member of parliament, you will only be sitting there for one term? You would not want.
I don't have any great intention of being setting in a political career. And personally, as it is right now, that's what I'm looking at, honestly speaking. I'm not saying that in the midst of it or a part of it, it might not change. You understand? Depending on response.
But from where you sit now?
From where I sit, that's basically how I'm looking at it, because it's a great sacrifice for me.
And but somebody, sir, slowly would sit down and say, if I was a part of the JLP and a part of the PNP, and I really sit and watch your dream, how you talk, it sounds very enticing, yeah? And I make that switch from the PNP and I follow the IPP. What will happen to me after that one term? Am I going to run back to the JLP or the PNP right after the IPP, which is going to be no more?
Well, that's a good question, But my thing is about lifting the bar higher within the political field.
But you can't, sir, slowly. It is all good about lifting the bar. But you're lifting the bar for the JLP and the PNP to see? That's what you're saying to me?
Yes. Lifting
No,
the
man.
bar.
I personally want to sanction that so slowly. And I tell you what.
As I said, it's
Yes.
not something which is cast in stone.
Okay.
But I'm just saying to you
Okay.
that I really don't sit and
Okay.
looking at a political career to say I want to go X number of years.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay.
My agenda right now is for a short term and immediate thing that we want to see something done in terms of representation at the highest level. Having somebody who is transparent, having somebody with a certain level of integrity, having somebody with good track record out there in terms of community development, understands, having somebody with scruples and a conscience, and having somebody as a God-fearing person.
But if you set that bar so slowly and people get to love it, people going to want to have a slowly staying there. You know what I mean? So why would you, you know what? So
as
slowly,
I said, it's not cast
it's the
in
cast in
stone.
stone, right? So we're not going to kind of,
But
yeah.
from where I sit now,
Yes.
that's the kind of outlook that I have. But it's not cast in stone.
Okay.
Just as I never had any interest in politics, or
Right.
going into representational
R-
politics.
right.
If anyone had asked me this maybe about over a month ago, because I don't think the thing has actually matured throughout the full month, even though the kind of traction we have taken up, I don't think we have had a full month out there.
Right.
So if anyone had asked me that prior to the start of it, I would have said no. You understand?
Okay.
But the thing came up so
Right.
sharp and so suddenly,
Right.
and the decision was made, and then it went.
What's your view on hands out? I mean, the handout mentality.
My brother, sometimes, so those are the kind of things that give me second thoughts when I see the kind of trend and I see the kind of legacy that our politicians have set, that there are so many persons, once they see you, they expect that you're going to be giving the personal benefits.
You sure you can maintain that type of mentality so slowly?
The thing about it, is that I have stood up and I've said to them that this is about representation. And I try to get them to understand that if it's just a few persons who are going to be looking forward for personal benefits, then it's going to rob the community at large. You understand? And so we need to come out of that and get to the point where people are going to get out of that selfish mode and selfish mentality, because that is the kind of thing that has been keeping us back as a nation.
Are we ready?
Get out of it.
Are we ready? Are we really ready for that level of politics?
I tell you what, one of the things that I have found out is that though you might have a lot of persons who might, have that kind of outlook, there are far more greater number of persons out there who are independent people, hardworking people, and what they're asking for is about the social amenities. They just want somebody that can help to develop the community. You understand? Somebody that can bring something different, that can engage the young people, understand? Engage the farmers, engage the littlest one out there, because even like the ECI, the Early Childhood Institute, I have a particular and a keen interest in the ECI because, the things that we have become accustomed to and that have become the norm, it's hard to change at a certain level. You have to start at the basic. Because even civic pride, when you move around and you see how many nice, beautiful cars and some garbage just wheeling out of it, it is embarrassing. And so we need to bring back certain things, and from the ECI stage, it's a good start. And that we can begin to reculture and get out of that culture that we have seen to sort of be set ourselves in, which is extremely a negative path that we're on. So in terms of the ECI, I have a keen and particular interest in intervention at that level also, because as the chairperson for the Leeds Primary School for over 12 years now, we can see where there are times real weaknesses with those students coming in. And so those persons that comes in with a set of weaknesses, it continues throughout the system. So we need to get to them at that early stage and ensure that we bring them to maximum and optimum performance in terms of literacy and numeracy at that stage.
So slowly, we have a chat room that we keep monitoring on the system, or on the station. And I'm getting one and two comments inside. I am looking at a comment that is stating, we're winding down, somebody's nervous as to you having a very good intention, and you speak very, yes, the way you talk, we would want to believe that you're genuine. But somebody's saying, after you hype we up, get the MP thing, and it's a possibility that after that one term, we're going to drop right back into the PNP and the JLP side. One more than, we have a couple of people kind of nervous in that statement that was made. But as you said, it's not in carving stone.
No.
And, but I would encourage you, Sir Slowly, and this is my personal, and I'll do it live. Mm-hmm. Based on what I've heard about you, and now that I'm talking to you and meeting you for the first time, you have very good intention, my brethren. And yeah, man, you have very good intention, and I would really want you to, if you get the MP thing, man, let's settle for one term, because the way you talk, my brethren, it sounds as if you're passionate. For the people, you have that dream. You want to be able to help, And as we just touch a little bit of that of handout mentality, it is going to be very hard, Sir Slowly, for you to have people around you, and they are so accustomed to that handout thingy. And if you come and say, "Hey, I am not in that," you're going to have a problem.
That is true. That is really the truth. But at the same time, I often said to persons, and I have to get back to that, I am guided by the good Lord, and no one ought to put their trust in any man, and especially politician. You understand? And
listen, are you a politician, Mr. Slowly?
I'm not a politician.
Oh, you're not a politician?
I'm not a politician. That's
what would you call yourself?
A representative for the people, people's representative.
Oh, okay.
That is what I am.
But they call him a politician, man.
Well, in a symbolic way, I am not a politician, and I am saying I won't be doing the normal stuff that politicians do. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. And so, in terms of breaking that thing and the difficulty that it presents at time, yes, it does. And the truth be told, you have to assess situations out there, because there are persons who are going to need intervention in situations that they have.
Yes.
Because when I traverse the various communities, I'm touched by some of the needs and the issues that the people will come to me with. You understand? Mark you. There are some very trivial ones that they come and, you look over. But there are some serious issues that people are dealing with out there.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds, Sir Slowly, to try to win a vote. Mm-hmm. Talk to the people. There are so many people listening at this time, and both local and foreign. It's all over.
Okay.
Utilize 30 seconds and convince a person, at least a person, about the IPP.
Well, I thank you very much, and I'm very humbled by the support that comes in. But giving me that opportunity to speak to someone or some persons right now, I just like to put a spotlight on me. I have nothing negative to be saying about anyone else. But I'd like to ask you that as you have this opportunity for a change, it is for you to exercise that right. You need to look at the personality, look at the person who is putting themselves forward. I'm a businessman and I have to get loans at different times from the bank. I can put a nice cash flow statement up front there. But let me tell you something. The bank is going to ask for my history. They're going to ask for my bank account itself. And they're going to look at the track record that is there. And I'm saying to you, look at the person's track record. Listen keenly to what the person is saying. And I'm saying to the person that I have never had any interest in the political affairs in terms of being somebody there in terms of representative politics. But as I said, I'm not even on the voters list. So you might have known that. It's just that I never had the interest. And if it is that somebody who is of that outlook coming to say, you know what, I'm coming off the fence and I'm going to offer myself to represent. And especially the 50% almost that's out there undecided, I'd like to say to you that we want to make a difference. And I would like all hands to be on board. We're saying all for one and one for all. We want to have the dreadlocks. We want to have the bald head as being a part of this. We want to have the JLP, the PNP, and the NOP as being a part of this, because what we want to do is to represent. We want to represent communities. We want to build better communities one by one, and at the end of the day, a better Jamaica land we love. The Lord bless you. Thank you very much for having me.
So slowly, it was really nice having you.
My pleasure.
And God bless you, my brethren.
Thank you very much.
All the best, sir.
Yeah.